Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brian Thompson with Defend ID. Today we'll be talking about identity theft protection and employee benefits overview. And just a quick overview we have here at today's agenda about Defend ID, the world now, how identity theft affects employees. Why do employees why do they even want identity theft protection? What do we do? Plans, pricing, questions, and answers. Defend ID's mission is to create peace of mind with a place to turn by protecting individuals through identity theft protection. Our products and services are considered to be a leader in the industry, and most specifically in the small business space. Full service recovery is something we get into a bit later, but is what we're best known for regarding the Defend ID service. So as the world now, as you know, sharing data is the way we live now. We share data through work. Personal identifiable information is required when you're either an employee or a customer. Through relationships, just like we're doing right now, many of us build relationships through technology, which again creates a point of data that's being shared. The data itself is being generated and shared more than ever before, and in more manipulative ways than you can imagine. More now than ever are we seeing new ways that the bad guys are manipulating individuals and the data that they collect. And so what's the state of mind with the adults that are online now right now? What's the activity right now? What is the state of mind? And 56% don't even think about the risks. Now couple that with the fact that the increase in the phishing, the vishing, the smishing, all the different ishings has gone up substantially in the last year due to COVID-19. There's more exposure now than ever. And 85% of hackers point to us. They're looking not only to get PII, but they're also looking to breach a company. And what's the weakest point of that company? And it's you and me. And so again, 85% point to the employees, the individuals, as the weakest point of security. And so as great a job as our cyber, IT, CIO, CTOs, those professionals are doing, their greatest weakness is not the technology that they're implementing, but the people who are using it. And that's you and me. And here are some stats about identity theft. This is a little bit dated. You can see it's from 2018. And these stats have gone up since 2018. And you can see that these numbers are alarming in many ways. But you can also see that there's an exposure that we need to be cognizant of. And every 2 seconds, someone becomes an identity theft victim. And one thing to know, identity theft is the #1 reported crime to the FTC, the fastest growing crime, and is one of the least reported crimes. So let that sink in for a second, and I'll say it again. Identity theft is the #1 reported crime to the FTC, the fastest growing crime, and one of the least reported crimes to the FTC. So in other words, we don't even know the real numbers. The numbers we do know is it is alarming. So how does identity theft affect employees? And so here are a few ways that identity theft affects employees. And 48% report stress-related sleep disturbances, 34% were denied personal lines of credit, 22% took time off from work to deal with the identity theft, and 15% sold personal things to pay for expenses. On average, an individual will spend hundreds of hours and many months working on the recovery from identity theft incident. 56 of those hours are spent at the office due to the institutions they have to contact are only open during the regular business hours. At roughly 7% of the adult population having their identity stolen, you'll find that the cost of group identity theft programs save a ton of money compared to the 56 hours of lost productivity and that 7% of your population. So why do the employees themselves want identity theft monitoring? Well, it's pretty simple, because it provides peace of mind with a place to turn, gives them comfort knowing that not only is somebody looking out for them, but they have somebody to turn to when an identity theft incident happens. So how do we do that? What we do is we focus on 3 pillars. And so the first one would be detect and alert. Essentially, we're monitoring the threats to your identity, ensuring that we alert you as soon as possible to mitigate the risks of exacerbating an identity theft issue, fraud, basically. And I'll never tell you that we prevent identity theft completely, and none of the providers do. That's not what we do. We actually mitigate the risk and prevent fraud in some instances, but the theft of identity material is not possible. It's already out there. So we have to do our best to mitigate that risk. And the way that we do that is with our detect and alert technologies. Second, we insure against loss. We cover employee expenses that may occur during those incidences and throughout the process. The third pillar, by far the most important piece of what we do, is the recovery efforts our team takes to ensure that our customers recover fully from identity theft. And again, it is the most important piece of the puzzle, and it's that full service recovery where someone will again take over and work on your behalf to complete your recovery by filling out forms, reports, calling the credit bureaus, pretty much anything they need to do to help you protect not only yourself, but get you back to pre-theft status. And how do they do that? This is really the differentiator of our group. They're highly qualified advocates with a lot of credentials. And we do not believe in pushing the consumer victim to a portal to manage their event on their own. We really want to give them that white glove experience where we do whatever we have to help them in a way that they're comfortable. And this is a slide that kind of shows that process. It shows that we have 100% success rate, and we do all forms of identity theft and fraud, financial, non-financial, taxpayer ID theft and fraud, medical ID theft, credential ID theft. Example might be passports or driver license. And it includes recovery for both not only the breach victims, but also for any separate consumer ID theft event for your employees. So it doesn't have to be at the office that needs to perform. And here are our plans. The gold and the platinum plan. We keep it pretty simple. The major differences, there's 3 of them. One would be 1 bureau versus 3 bureau credit reports and scores. 1 bureau versus 3 bureau monitoring and daily alerts. And then 25,000 versus $1 million of insurance. This is our pricing grid. Essentially, the top grid is the price for groups when the employer is paying, which is tax deductible as an employee. So if you're going to buy this for your employees, you will be able to write that piece off. The second is the voluntary pricing, and that's when the employee is paying for the program themselves, but it is through payroll deduction. It doesn't cost you as the employer anything in any way, but it does give benefit to your employees. You are offering them something of value, and they get a fairly good discount because of that. And then our retail program, that's the program if somebody comes to our site and buys it offline. So you can see the difference in cost. The programs are all exactly the same. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer those for you. You can email me at brian@defend-id.com, or you can call me at 860-406-7961. And with that, I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.